Each year, more than 150 people die from accidental carbon monoxide poisoning associated with consumer products in the United States. Unlike fire or smoke hazards, when this deadly gas fills your home, you cannot see it or smell it. That's why it's called the invisible killer.
Invisible.
It sits there so innocuous. Your trusty gas stove, you cook your meals on it, you warm your hands over its flames. But what you don't see might actually kill you. A new Stanford study has dropped a bombshell. Gas stoves? They're silently pumping out toxic pollutants, contributing to nearly 20,000 premature deaths in the US each year. That's right, your stove might be a silent killer, and like a bad guest, it's overstayed its welcome. This isn't about a few singed eyebrows. We're talking about nitrogen dioxide, a nasty little gas that can wreak havoc on your lungs. The World Health Organization sets guidelines for air quality. Gas stoves? They laugh in the face of those guidelines, exceeding them by a whopping 75%. Now, before you swap your stove for a campfire, let's be clear. This isn't about panicking, it's about awareness. It's about understanding that those seemingly harmless puffs of gas add up. Every day they're releasing a cocktail of pollutants into your home, jeopardizing your family's health. This isn't some far-fetched horror movie plot. It's the reality of millions of kitchens across America. The truth is, your cozy haven might be harboring an invisible enemy, and it's time we shed light on this silent killer.
The silent killer.
Let's break down this toxic cocktail, shall we? Nitrogen dioxide is the main culprit, a known lung irritant. But wait, there's more. Gas stoves also emit carbon monoxide, the silent killer you know from faulty heaters. And let's not forget benzene, a carcinogen linked to leukemia. Imagine this. You're simmering your grandma's famous tomato sauce, the aroma filling your kitchen. But lurking beneath that comforting scent is a dangerous trio of pollutants silently infiltrating your lungs. It's like finding a cockroach in your soup. Suddenly, the deliciousness turns sour. The real kicker? This isn't a quick hit like downing a shot of tequila. This is long-term exposure, day after day, year after year. Think of it like a frog in a pot of slowly boiling water. The frog doesn't realize the danger until it's too late. Are we the frogs in this scenario? This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about facts. The science is clear. These pollutants are bad news. And they're not just hanging out in your kitchen, they're hitching a ride into your lungs, wreaking havoc on your respiratory system.
Hey, can I get a ride into town?
Remember that bit about long-term exposure? It's particularly alarming when you consider the most vulnerable among us children. Their lungs are still developing, making them far more susceptible to the harmful effects of these pollutants. Imagine a child's drawing, vibrant, full of life. Now picture that same drawing slowly fading, the colours losing their vibrancy. That's what prolonged exposure to gas stove pollutants can do to a child's lungs. It's a slow, silent assault that can have lifelong consequences. Studies have shown a clear link between gas stove use and respiratory issues in children. Asthma, bronchitis, and even an increased risk of leukemia. These are just some of the potential consequences of this invisible threat. It's like sending our kids into a boxing ring with their hands tied behind their backs. This isn't just about sniffles and coughs. This is about compromised childhoods, about kids struggling to breathe, about lifelong health challenges. It's time we stop treating gas stoves like harmless appliances and start seeing them for what they are, a potential threat to our children's future. Here's a gut punch. The burden of gas stove pollution isn't shared equally. It disproportionately affects marginalized communities, particularly Black, Latino, and Native American households. Why? Because systemic inequities often translate into poorer housing conditions, including poorer ventilation. Imagine two kitchens, one bright, airy, with a fancy range hood whisking away any fumes, the other cramped, poorly ventilated, the air thick with the invisible toxins from a decades-old gas stove. This isn't a coincidence. It's a stark illustration of environmental injustice. Native American households face a staggering 60% higher exposure to nitrogen dioxide compared to the national average. Black and Latino households experience a 20% higher exposure. These numbers aren't just statistics, they represent real people, real families struggling to breathe in homes that are literally making them sick. This isn't just about health, it's about justice. It's about acknowledging that the very air we breathe is laced with inequality. It's about demanding better for communities that have already borne the brunt of environmental injustice for far too long.
All right, people, let's go.
Section 5. The fight for clean air policy in the making. Thankfully, some folks are finally waking up and smelling the gas, so to speak. Policymakers are beginning to address this issue, albeit with the grace of a three-legged race. California is considering slapping warning labels on gas stoves. New York City has taken a bolder step, banning gas hookups in many new buildings. These are baby steps in the right direction. It's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound, but hey, at least someone's acknowledging the wound. But let's be real, we need bolder action, and we need it now. We need stricter regulations, financial incentives for switching to cleaner alternatives, and targeted support for low-income communities. This isn't about government overreach. It's about protecting public health. It's about ensuring that everyone has the right to breathe clean air in their own homes. It's about time we stop treating gas stoves as a cooking appliance and start treating them like the public health hazard they are. Section 6. They said what? The gas stove debate. Now, let's dive into the mudslinging, shall we? The gas stove debate is a tale of two narratives. On one side, you have the scientists and health experts armed with studies and data, sounding the alarm about the dangers of gas stoves.
The evidence is clear, says Dr. Sarah Jones, a leading respiratory specialist. Gas stoves are a significant source of indoor air pollution, and we need to take action to protect public health.
On the other side, you have the gas industry and their allies clutching their wallets and clinging to the good old days.
What good old days?
They'll tell you that gas stoves are perfectly safe, that the science is inconclusive, that it's all a big conspiracy cooked up by the electric stove lobby.
These claims are overblown, argues Bob McBurner, CEO of Big Gas Industries. Gas stoves are efficient, cost-effective, and perfectly safe for home use.
Who to believe? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But here's a thought. Maybe, just maybe, we should err on the side of caution when it comes to the air we breathe.
Section 7, Conspiracy Corner. When stoves spark suspicions. Hold on to your tinfoil hats, folks, because the gas stove debate has taken a turn for the conspiratorial. Whispers of government mind control, secret agendas, and big stove pulling the strings are swirling around the internet faster than a dust bunny in a windstorm. Some believe that the government is using gas stoves to pump mind-altering substances into our homes, turning us into docile sheeple. Others claim that Big Stove is behind this whole charade, trying to scare us into buying expensive electric alternatives. And then there are those who believe that gas stoves are actually alien devices sent to monitor our every move. Now, I'm not saying any of this is true, but I'm also not saying it. Because let's be honest, in this day and age, anything is possible. And when it comes to the government and big corporations, a healthy dose of skepticism is never a bad thing.
Trust the government?
Section 8. Can we laugh about this? Humor in the haze. Look, I know this is serious stuff, but sometimes you just gotta laugh, right? So, let's inject a little humor into this haze of gas stove anxiety. What do you call a gas stove that's always causing trouble? A real hothead. Why did the gas stove cross the road? To get to the lung doctor. Okay, I'll stop. But in all seriousness, while we can find humor in the absurdity of it all, it's important to remember that this is a real issue with real consequences, so let's keep fighting for cleaner air, one breath at a time. And hey, if we can have a few laughs along the way, well, that's just a bonus.
Keep your job.
Section 9. Breathe easy, practical steps for a healthier home. Okay, enough doom and gloom. What can we actually do about this? Don't worry, you don't have to ditch your grandma's secret recipes just yet. There are steps you can take to mitigate the risks. First off, ventilation is your best friend. Open those windows, even just a crack, especially when cooking. Invest in a decent range hood that actually vents outside, not just recirculates the polluted air back into your kitchen. Think of it like a bouncer for your lungs, tossing out the unwanted guests. Consider switching to cleaner cooking methods. Induction cooktops are becoming increasingly affordable and energy efficient. Plus, they heat up faster than a gossip chain at a hair salon. And hey, if all else fails, embrace the power of takeout. Just kidding. But seriously, by taking these simple steps, you can significantly reduce your exposure to harmful pollutants and breathe a little easier in your own home. Section 10. Your choice, your health, taking control of your air. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You can choose to ignore the science, dismiss the risks, and continue cooking on your trusty gas stove. Or you can choose to educate yourself, arm yourself with knowledge, and take action to protect your health and the health of your loved ones. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about empowerment. It's about understanding that we have the power to make informed choices about the air we breathe. It's about demanding better for ourselves, our families and our communities. The air we breathe is a shared resource, a fundamental human right. It's time we start treating it that way. So take a deep breath, assess your own kitchen and make the choice to breathe easy.